You see four guys up here on stage, and you're probably thinking, hey, that's Double Fines. This is almost Double Fines. There's one more guy. He sits in a chair, and he's known as the Godfather. So I wrote this song for him, because he's the most kick-ass son of a bitch in the world. Oh, Godfather, this one's for you. We kick back our chairs and we raise up our brew. The good times and bad, you help us stay true. And that's why, Godfather, this one's for you. And I go,
Boom! We're live. Well, we're not live. One day we'll be live.
One day we'll be live.
We'll be live. We'll have
subscribe on Patreon to see it live.
Yeah, if you want. We gotta hire somebody to do the editing, everything else. Oh, fucking A, man. Thanks for being here,
Dude,
man.
thanks for having me. I'm so stoked when you asked me.
Dude, this is so awesome. We've been friends for a long time, but I've been meaning to ask you, how do you say your last name?
Hennig.
Hennig?
Hennig, yeah.
This is the first time I've ever said Hennig. No,
I do love using my three names on social media because I think people search for boobs or Mr. Boobs a lot.
Huh.
I also opted out to not, Facebook lets you use a nickname.
Oh,
I could have put boobs so they could find me, but yeah.
Huh.
My last name's also constantly misspelled. It's Hennig. People always want to put Henning. It just seems like more,
Like an action word? You're an action man.
I guess so.
What's your middle name?
Daniel.
Daniel. Okay, I knew that. It's funny. Well, I don't have a middle name, but so I find kind of bizarre middle names. Like Brian's middle name is Michael. Michael!
Brian Michael?
I can picture Brian, like, calling him Michael. But anyways, man, fuck, dude. Thanks for being here, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, man.
Like I was saying, we've been friends for a long time, but I don't know a lot about you, like where you come from and like where you started. I mean, I know we met back in the Beatles days, like 2005, 4-ish.
Yeah.
I think towards the end of 4 is when I first started going to shows. My stepbrother Steven used to be the drummer for the band Conversing with Zookeepers.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I started going to shows.
Joe Mintz was the singer for Conversing with Zookeepers.
That's right, Joe.
And at Beatles one time, it was probably around then. I think the award, the Ashy Award. Remember we got the Ashy Awards?
I kind of do. Yeah, sounds
Committee and
familiar.
popular voting. It was just this gold ashtray that Phil Stevens had like a trophy place, like put a small plaque and they just engraved your name.
Right.
And it said it was the Ashies, the Anchorage Scene Honor Awards, and they were given away and they were in ashtrays. So it was pretty funny. But I remember it was all just a popularity thing.
Right.
I was a good enough singer, but I beat out.
Remember that?
I beat out Joe Mintz for vocalist of the year. And
how'd you manage that?
do you know what I'm saying? Like the whole, it's like what, dude?
I mean,
it was just a popularity contest,
dude. I love you and everything, but that kid fucking could sing, man. Holy shit.
You know how like.
Well, he would win all the battle of the bands back in, because he went to Diamond High School. I went to Diamond.
That's right.
So he used to win like all the battle of the bands. It was that Muse cover they used to do. I think that's how he got the crowd every
That's
time.
exactly what I was gonna say, dude. Because he sounds like every asshole that likes Muse. Well, I do too, but all us assholes that like Muse, when you're in your car and you turn up Muse really loud and you're singing along and you're like, oh man, I'm totally singing. I'm totally singing just like the dude from Muse. Joe actually sang probably better than the fucking dude from Muse.
Sounded just like him. Yeah, he did, man.
Yeah,
That's hilarious. Yeah, I remember those awards like towards the end. Because I think I was competing with the guitar player from Strep, this like skinny Mexican kid. I think his name was Brian, I think. I don't remember. I just remember that he won, and I was so fucking bitter. I'm like, you can't fucking play guitar. But I was a fucking arrogant asshole.
I'm sure that Joe felt the same way when I won. He was like, you can't fucking sing. And I was up there like 99 red balloons. La la la.
Were you playing in Double Fines back then, or in a different band?
Yeah, it was Double Fines back then. I can't really remember when Double Fines got together. They were a band for a couple years.
Before you joined?
And they just played in Johnny's garage. And they would just do blues covers. I mean, you remember Johnny?
Oh my God, I remember Johnny?
His
I love
guitar
you, buddy.
playing,
I miss you. I miss seeing you on stage.
his guitar playing is just crazy. He'd never played the same thing twice, I don't think either, ever.
Right.
And so they would just do lots of Jimi Hendrix and blues stuff in his garage. Over on Arctic and 76 there. They called it the Hood. I still call it the Hood, even though I didn't grow up there, because they were always like, we're going to the Hood. I'm like, hey, let's meet at the Hood.
We don't have projects out here.
I never really played in bands in high school and stuff like that. I wanted to be an actor in high school.
An actor?
Yeah. I was on my way for a scholarship my junior year, but then I dropped out too.
Oh, you fucked
I was
up.
in all kinds of plays, dude. I was in Grease. I was in West Side Story.
Dude.
Romeo and Juliet.
No shit?
Barefoot in the Park.
In high school?
Yeah. I did a community theater and stuff like that too. Yeah, I wanted to be an actor.
Here in Anchorage?
Mm-hmm. I wanted to be an actor and ultimately a comedian, you know? I wanted to do comedy.
Right. I knew that you wanted to be a
Jim
comedian.
Carrey kind of thing.
For the
you know
past,
what I mean?
since I know you, 15 years.
Yeah.
And, man, I mean, that's one thing that, you got that shit. In between songs of every show that you ever played, you have that it of a comedian that you just got, the most clever, funny shit to say, back pocket, boom. And you're like, that's fucking hilarious.
Thanks,
That's some material, professional shit. Somebody who's trying to be funny. There's a lot of people there that try to be funny, but it's just it comes so natural of you on stage, and you're like, dude, you should have an hour. You should have 10 hours by now from all the years that you've done stand-up comedy on stage while playing a show.
They say every comedian wants to be a rock star and every rock star wants to be a comedian.
Right.
So I'm pretty happy with the medium that I've created for myself. I get to do a little bit of both kind of. And
right.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's super fun. I
Was Double Fines your first band, or were you on different projects before that?
So Double Fines was the first real band. I was in maybe 2-3 bands before I got with Double Fines during high school and a little bit after, but we never played shows. You know,
you guys
what I mean?
just jam as friends.
Yeah, and we'd be like, we're called this week, and now we're called this week, and this is a cool name and stuff like that.
Do you remember any of those names? Ryan and I talked about that, and we had some crazy
Blind
names.
Messiah.
What?
It's fucking stupid, man.
That's awesome.
We were a metal band, and our big thing was Carol of Bells. All fucking old big bass shit. And,
no, I know this one.
Yeah. So I went on this big road trip when I was about 19 years old. Me and some friends saved up some money, converted an old 84 school bus into a motorhome with 3 bedrooms.
Nice.
Put 415s up in that bitch.
How old were you?
Bumping. I was 19.
Fuck.
I was 17 when we started this project.
Right.
And my buddy, a super genius kid, was one of the most punk rock dudes I ever knew, Ben Hussey. He was valedictorian, graduated when he was 2 years old or something, you know what I mean? But he was so fucking punk, and he's just a genius, really. And he was going on road trips for a couple years around the States in his van. And so he had everything mapped out, a good idea. He knew about gas prices all over and shit. This is before the internet, too.
Right.
This is before we had smartphones, 1966, I think it was. But we got this bus and we drove around the States for 7 months or something like that. Just drove around. We never made it really past
From Anchorage?
the Midwest. Yeah. Drove through Canada.
Damn, dude, that's a fucking dream for a lot of people, man.
It was really cool.
As a musician and anything,
It was really cool. Yeah, we had guitars, but we weren't, me and Ben, we would jam, but we weren't a band or nothing. We told a lot of people when we were driving around, we're like, yeah, we're a band, because we had a bus and shit.
Right.
But when I came back, I was working at the Beartooth before I left. And when I came back, my friend Travis had gotten us a place. So he was moved in for about a month. So when I came back on December 30th, I want to say 2001, maybe 2002. I can't really remember. But when I came back, I went and got my job back at the Beartooth right away. Started working, and everyone was saying, "Oh, you got to meet the kids. You got to meet these kids. Mm-hmm. They're really fun, and they have a band and this and that." And the kids was Mikey Shia, John Talbot, and David Casey. and they were all dishwashers at the Beartooth.
Nice.
Like, all the dishwashers were in a band. Okay. And they had heard about me, whatever, while I was gone, and they were like, hey, you should be in our band. And I was like, no, I don't want to be in a band. Like, bands are dumb. But then I started jamming with my friend Boozy from the Beartooth, Sean McBride, Boobs and Boozy. We had a band called Titties and Beer, just the two of us, Boobs and Boozy. And we had
Imagine seeing that name on a flyer.
We would jam at Boozy's house every Sunday, and the guys in Double Fines found out about it somehow, and they started showing up to our jam spot, right? And I was playing guitar and bass a lot at the time, mostly guitar, but bass when no one was there and I had to. And they started showing up, and within a month of them coming and hanging out, I started learning their songs and shit. Like, they had like 2 originals. That was it. But the Nilchik, that song, I don't know if you remember that one. The world will always turn. Anyway,
you guys didn't have a lot of
Joe Mintz. No.
Well, you guys didn't.
So
you guys didn't have a lot of recordings for me to like have it on my phone and on my computer.
No,
I have a lot of.
You know what? I do have a unmastered that we did at Surreal Studios. From way back in the day. I'll get you a copy of it.
No shit, dude.
I gotta wipe all the sweat off my brow. It's like 9,000 degrees in here right now, by the way, folks.
Yeah, this is gonna this is gonna become the shirtless podcast here in a fucking second, man. I know it's fucking brutal in here.
Pantless, shirtless.
No, I think the only double fine song I have is from a Beatles compilation CD that I found on Valley Village.
Oh yeah,
and it was like a live compilation.
I think we did the Godfather song and Zippers Down, Pockets Out, I think, on the live ones. But so anyway, they came over and they're infiltrating my practice, my jam spot, and they're turning it into Double Fine's practice. And they were constantly
they sound like Ryan when he became a vocalist. He just starts showing up.
That's exactly that. Or like the guy from Descendants, Milo. Like, he was just like their friend, the guy that make all their logos. He was just their friend. He was like, can I try singing? And he was like the best singer they ever had. So I got I can't remember. I got this really nice guitar, and they always wanted me to be the singer in their band. And I was like, no, I don't want to fucking be a singer, and I don't want to fucking be in your band. Kids, leave me alone.
Why not?
And I just didn't want to, I don't know. I just didn't want. I thought that was punk as fuck. Like, no, I don't know. I was 19, 20, I think. They were 17, 16.
Well,
and I was like, I don't want to be in your band.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So they show up.
If a bunch of kids ask me to be in their band, I'd be like, how old are you?
And then I score this guitar.
Go fuck yourself.
I can't even remember what guitar it was. But I score this fucking guitar.
I don't know, man. It might have been an Ibanez Roadster Series 2, color red. Oh, no, wait. That was years later.
I think
Go on.
I think it was...
I gave Boobs a guitar, and then he lost it, got stolen, some shit like that.
Yeah,
Anyways, go on.
I think he got stolen. I think he got stolen out of LJ's car, maybe. I can't remember. I think his car got broken into. Anyway, where was I? Okay, so I got this guitar, and then I was like, hey, all right, I'll be in your band, but I just want to play guitar. And they're like, okay, well, you got to sing a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, probably not. And so we start the band, we start playing guitar, and my best friend Tyra, I always had this joke that she was my manager. Before, I wasn't even in bands, but I was like, that's my manager. Like, she's, she takes care of my day-to-day stuff or whatever. And she didn't drink till a few years ago, and I think when we turned 21, she might started drinking a little bit. I feel like it was after too, but anyway, she would drive me around all the time. She got us enrolled in a battle of the bands. It was like at Club Millennium. There wasn't even a downstairs at this time. Okay,
what year is this?
Fuck, 2003, 2004.
Oh wow! So it's before
we're not even playing Beatos.
Right. Well, so this is before I even joined the scene, because
we're not even playing Beatos at this time. I think Beatos is just opening at this time. So I don't remember what the thing was for. It was probably just more popularity thing. But it was like 5 weeks of a battle of the bands, and we went up against Jeb.
I remember that name.
And somebody else, and we lost horribly. We played what did we play? 99 Red Balloons, probably.
To this day, we still play that song.
Like,
to this day.
I play it in the fucking Falcons. I hate it. We played that.
Nope.
Jimi Hendrix song, and the Nilchik, I think. And right after that, I cut my hand. 'Cause I was a cook at the Beartooth, and I cut my fucking hand, and I couldn't play guitar, and we had a couple weeks of gigs booked.
Oh,
so
shit.
I had to fucking start singing, and then I mean the rest is
right.
what everybody knows about me now. I mean I did one set with no guitar in my hand.
But Mike Shea was in the band.
Okay, so Mikey was the drummer of Double Fines. Davey played bass, and Johnny played guitar.
Okay.
And when I joined, again, this is a pretty funny story. Again, they always wanted me to fucking be in their band, you know? And I think I actually might have hung out with Mikey a lot more than the other two guys. He was always over at my house smoking weed and drinking. And, I always had parties and shit. And when I decided that I was going to be in Double Fines, I was with Johnny and Davey, and Mikey was at work at the Beartooth. We all went in there to go tell him that I decided to join the band. And Mikey, classic Mikey, fuck you, this and that. Like, what the fuck? Mikey was like, I'm fucking done with this band. All we do is fucking play covers, and we're never gonna fucking play shows anyway, blah, blah, blah.
That sounds just like Mikey,
So
dude.
then my spiteful ass, too.
Mikey gets so hyped up.
How I operate, I'm like, oh yeah, when someone does that, so I booked like twice as many gigs. And I had a friend, Edgar Marshall Perry. He was coming over to the house all the time too and jamming with me and Boozy, and he was the drummer in Titties and Beer. And we just played house parties, and so he also learned the Double Fine stuff as I did on guitar. So I was like, Eddie will fucking play, and he did not want to at all. He was like, no dude. I remember I tricked him a bunch of times. I'd be like, hey man, you want to go downtown and get some pizza? He's like, yeah, okay. I was like, what's this place? I'm like, it's a new music venue. Let's go check it out. And then we go upstairs, and the dudes are there. And he's like, what the fuck? I'm like, come on, man. Let's just play a 45-minute set.
Here's some drumsticks.
So we played, and then, 2002, 2003.
So Eddie was the drummer. So he became the official drummer.
Yes.
When I first met you.
Yeah, at Beato's when we were playing. Yeah.
You guys were playing at Beato's. He was the drummer.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we called him Loophole. Because he was always like looking for a way to get out of shit, and
sounds like Brian.
Eddie ended up taking he was a big hippie. Like, his happy place was fucking walking barefoot on the fucking Seward Highway, climbing those rocks, Just like, that was his shit. Right? You think of all of us are like, why the fuck is that dude hanging out? But we were fucking bros, man. And he was planning to go on he had like a Volkswagen bus or something, and some hippie girlfriend, and they were gonna go fucking backpacking through the States or whatever. He's like, I'm gonna leave for like 6 months. Before he left, he was like, because Double Fines was picking up and we were a cool new band, he was like, let's look for a drummer to replace me while I'm gone. And
what year is this now?
2005 maybe.
Okay,
so we're looking around, and there's this really goofy skinny kid that's like kind of awkward. I live in the valley or something. I live in town. It's so weird. He's so weird, and he plays in this fucking weird ass band that Mikey ended up joining called Toying with Masterminds. And he's playing drums in this band, and Eddie was like, he's pretty good. And a couple weeks later, he started playing drums in this band called The Affected, and we were like, okay, he's got like chops, and he's a little bit verse.
Oh boy, are we talking about Dustin Murray?
Yeah, so Eddie recruited Dustin, and Dustin was in Double Fines for, I don't know, a couple years after that.
Wow, so Dustin was in The Affected, Double Fines. Then you guys had Eddie back, right?
Yeah, so...
And then Dustin came back like what years later? Because I remember that Dustin came back to play with you guys.
I'm not even certain about that. So when Eddie did come back, he was.
I just remember the Blue Central Monday nights. Like you guys were back, but then you guys had Dustin on the drums. Mm-hmm. And I always thought that he was just kind of filling in, but I didn't know he was ever in the band way before.
He never. I don't think he ever liked it at the time. You know, when I talk to him now, like I know that he enjoyed it. But he was always, I would always get upset too because he was always like, "Oh, Double Fines is my hobby band. That's my thing." And I'm like, "Well, it's not a fucking hobby for me." You know,
did you punch him in the face right there and then?
No. No, he was like so scrawny and like timid and like awkward.
You would have break him.
Yeah, break him like a twin popsicle against the counter, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I can't recall when Dustin when Eddie came back 7-8 months later or something. He was like, "Oh, Dustin's doing pretty good. I'm not going to join back yet." But then Eddie would start coming to shows and being like, "Hey, can I play this one song that I like a lot?"
Like,
and then he'd,
hey,
yeah, pretty much. And then he'd be like, "No, I'll do the next one too. Don't worry about it. You sit over there." And
fuck up, Dustin. I'm back.
I can't really remember exactly. Like, it was, we were on and off again, Double Fines then after a while, and yeah, we came back with the Blue Central thing, and towards the end, the last incarnation of Double Fines, we had Chris Gordon from Saints. Remember that band Saints?
Yep. Yeah.
We had Chris Gordon play drums, and he made it like, that was like when we
it was heavy Double Fines.
Yeah, we hadn't played in like maybe 2-3 years out in public either, and he came back and it made us fucking like kind of metal. We did a Dillinger Escape Plan.
Huh.
We did Milk Lizard. It's fucking cool.
Yeah, man. So when around that time when you guys had Eddie, that's when I kind of start joining the scene back in 2005,
Mm-hmm.
and those were the bands I was seeing every time I went there. It was Double Fine, Spitshine, Stuncock, and then, what was LG's band?
Carpe Necrum.
What is it?
Carpe Necrum. Seize the dead.
Carpe Necrum. I thought his band was the coolest band ever, only because, well, they were cool. I'm just saying that at the time there wasn't anything super heavy or super aggressive.
Yeah, for real.
And so, like, the first time I saw LG's band, I was like, "Fuck, dude, this guy's awesome, and this band is awesome." And he was super cool after the show. Like, I went up, came up to talk to him, with my broken fucking English, which, I'm still have, but it was like, "Hey man, you're fucking cool, man, I love your band." But it's like there was no metal, so like I was like hanging on to this one metal band that I finally saw, because exactly back then when there's no fucking internet and shit, you didn't know who the fuck was playing unless you're hanging around downtown and you'll see flyers, because back then there was flyers around.
Yeah.
But if you didn't hang around or whatever, like, you wouldn't know who was playing every weekend. And that was fucking awesome, because I remember Brian and I back in those days, like from 2005 to 2006, 7, those first 2 years of us going to Beatles, it was just like that. We're like, we don't know who's playing, but let's just go and just in case the band suck, let's get a bottle of fucking Smirnoff and let's split it into two of us, and we're gonna have a good time regardless. no matter who the fuck is playing. And it was always like that. But I remember when I saw LG's band and then the band from the Valley, Mutilated Hole, fucking Donnie.
Mutilated Hole. I'm Donnie Wiggins.
Oh, what's up, Donnie? Shout out to Donnie, man. Fucking, it was like that, man. And those were some of the best times for me, mainly because it wasn't like it's metal night, it's punk night, it's indie night.
Totally.
It was a fucking Al, the owner.
4 to 5 bands that were all different.
Totally, dude.
That's still my definition and idea of a show.
That should be.
You know what I mean? I get it.
Bring
I get it when we have the metal themes.
Right.
You know, Metal Massacre or whatever. Yeah, I get it. You have theme shows and stuff like that. But to me, a good all ages show is fucking 5 bands that have nothing to do with anything of each other.
It brings all the crowds and like expose the fans from this band, from this band, from this band to all the other music, and without them even knowing, like, they might become fucking fans.
Maybe you came to see this band and you see this band first and you're like, that sucks, but then this band is like even better than the one you came to see. You know
exactly,
what I mean?
Man. And that's one thing that it isn't even a recent thing. It's been going on since kind of like Club Millennium opened up. It became like it's a metal night or it's a metal lineup, and like it wouldn't change. Dude, like back in Beatles, man, we had Murderous Justice, which was my first real band, and we were metal, and we would play with fucking Spitshine, Strapped.
You know what you guys used to write?
Double Fines.
MIJ, remember?
Yeah.
I used to call you guys Michael is Jackson.
But
Michael is Jackson.
that's one thing that I felt like promoters in venues just kind of like fail in the past like fucking 6-8 years. They start doing like this, like it's a metal night, so and the promoters and like exactly, it's cool every now and then because then you get like a hardcore fucking you know, crowd in there.
Yeah.
But man, like that should be a rare thing. What was awesome about Beatles and back when there wasn't social media was exactly that you would just go because you knew there was going to be, he always have live music. I mean, there were so many bands back then that he was never short of bands wanting to play. So
yeah, for real.
So that meant that the shittiest, like a band that's been together for 2 weeks, they would get to fucking play. So you had to see them play too. And that was something that would suck, but like, it's like, dude, like that's what created like bands for the fucking future. An all ages venue, and this is what our scene is fucking dead. It's non-existent right now. Because you had to have that all ages, the one venue that gave the opportunity to everybody to play, but also gave a place for an underage crowd to come, hang out, see some music, get inspired, and start their own bands. And then that will translate to the next fucking generations, and that will give us like a bunch of bands, which was basically 2008, 2009. Dude, there was so many bands, and the worst thing about it, there were so many metal bands. It was actually kind of obnoxious. But what?
No, you're right.
Why did that happen?
I don't know what year it was, but I do remember
it was like, around those years, man.
Everyone was. It was all metal. Yeah.
But you know how we got all those bands? Because we had two all ages venues. We had Beatles, we had Club Millennium, doing shows simultaneously, like at the same fucking time.
Yeah.
Kids were going to shows.
I remember we'd walk over.
Yeah, because it was down the street. Dude, I played at both venues in one night. Like
really?
I go open the fucking Club Millennium.
I never did that.
I remember,
but we would go play and go fucking see.
I did it one time, and I did it for Turbo North because it was like their going away show. It was his last show in Alaska. So we went to Club Millennium and we asked to play first. And as soon as we played, we grabbed our shit, went to Beatles, down on 5th, and fucking opened up for Turbo North. But what I'm saying is like, those venues, it's so sad that we don't have a fucking all ages venue right now because it isn't about, well, it's about the music, but dude, it's about a place for underage kids to come, go, and get inspired. Because if they see a band, just like I was, when I fucking went to Beatles, the first time I saw Spitshine, Double Fine, Stonecock, I wasn't even in a band. I've only been playing guitar for like a year and a half. And what do you think I'm thinking?
Yeah,
All
totally.
I'm thinking is like, I want to do that someday.
Totally.
I want to do that someday. And then you're obsessed with playing guitar. You're obsessed with starting a band because that's all you want to do. You just want to be like those guys. Some people are happy with just go to the shows, have a good time. Myself, man, I'm like, I want to be up there. Like, I have to be up there. Not only that, I want to be the fucking best. And back then, I was so young, like, the whole, like, you're young and stupid. I'm like, oh, dude, young and retarded, dude. Like, I was like young and like arrogant, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be out there, and not only that, I'm gonna be better than those guys. Those guys don't even move. They don't even headbang. They don't even fucking do anything. If I get a chance to be up there, I'm gonna fucking be throwing down so hard, and have been, man, for 15 years. But
yeah.
But I learned that I was like, man, people play in different fucking ways, man. And the bands that I loved, I grew up to love and admire and fucking like respect a lot was bands that wasn't like this crazy on stage, but they were so fucking solid and so good. The sound was so tight. Spitshine and Double Fines was always like tight and fun. And then you guys have you have guys like Johnny Talbot, to where like you guys are like not tight, but you look like you're having so much fun on stage. You're all over the fucking place. You're walking around, running around, singing, and you can tell that you fucking like love what you're doing. And then Johnny, I just love seeing him play guitar, man. He just has so much fucking heart. And it was never like my type of music. And like I remember the first time I saw you guys, I thought you guys were so silly, and I would get mad. I would get mad because you guys would have like a big fucking crowd. And I'd be like, I don't get it. Kind of same thing with Spitch. And I was stupid, man. I was young. I was like 19 years old, 20 years old. and I was in the garage like practicing. I'm like, I'm gonna be better than those guys. I mean, I wasn't like in my garage like thinking about speech. I'm like, fuck yeah.
No, yeah, Double Fine's definitely had this, definitely a silly factor, but it was like, I don't know. Yeah, our thing was arrogance and cockiness, but up there, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Basically, to sum it up, it's just like doing that, and people going, "Oh my god!" Like, you know.
Yep.
Double Fines was so silly. Like,
it
was an organized. It always seemed like it's a lot to what I do with Cowboys. I mean, it seems like a freestyle, but it's not. It's like a rehearsed, like, tight organized
freestyle.
Kind of chaos.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's like,
because
I loved.
You can tell if you're like freestyling, you're gonna hit a fucking roadblock and it's gonna be awkward. It always seems like you always knew what you were doing, and same with Eternal Cowboys. Like, it always seems like you guys know everything that you're doing, even from like your jokes. Is like, did he rehearse that? But I know that you didn't. And that's why I'm like, you'd be a great comedian.
I mean, now. I still write and come up with jokes and gags and bits and stuff.
Right.
But most of it now is like, I have that bag.
Yeah.
Because I've done it all. So,
right.
And the great thing about what I love about playing with Josh, too, is he's been with me right by my side for 10 years now. So he knows all the beats on any joke that I'm setting up, you know, and I can go, hey, what do you think about this? Well, I don't know. Punchline, you know, like he knows all, we don't drop anything. So it's a lot of fun. Spitshine was, I remember the first time I saw Spitshine, I saw them at the Russian Jack Chalet.
Where's that?
You know the Russian Jack golf course?
Never been, but I've heard of it.
It's like DeBar and Boniface kind of area.
The projects.
Yeah. So they used to have shows over there at the Russian Jack Chalet, and I think Spitshine was new to Anchorage. They just came up from Ketchikan, and they played a show with the Born Losers, Stubby's Crack Company, Fats Tuna Melt, and someone else. And so they were playing this fucking punk show. But when Spitshine came up here, they weren't super duper punk. They were a little more, I don't know, alternative.
Really?
Yeah. Power chordy. I don't know. It was still good, but I remember at that show, I talked to Sean about it later.
Well, they did play in Drop D.
I don't think they did it this time either.
Really?
Yeah. They kept tuning down because his voice kept going out. Like mine, you know how we sound now.
Right.
Hey, rocker. What's up, rocker?
Hey, what's up, rocker?
Hey, what's up, rocker? Yeah! I remember, and I talked to Sean, or maybe Jason about it years later too. I remember like watching them. I'm like, oh, who's the new band? You know, those guys look cool. Look at that guy's mutton chops. And, yeah, look at his Jack Daniels shirt. And those guys look cool. I've never seen them. And
Sean's been an old band since he was like 20.
I remember. I remember them. Remember like play faster. I remember like that amongst Spitshine. Like I was like, huh. Come on, yeah, that's fast enough. All right, like they sped up all their songs for their first show, I think. And then I saw them at one of the Cuddy Park picnics a couple weeks later. And when I saw them at Cuddy Park, I think I played after them because Double Fines was around a little bit longer than them in Anchorage. So I think I played after them, but I remember watching them. I remember getting to Cuddy Park that day, and they were on stage. This is maybe 2005, 2006. And they were on stage, and I was watching them, and I was like, I want to be in that band. I was like, this is fucking...
You son of a bitch. That's what I thought right around then.
I think they were playing Release. It's a breakup song. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about how you made a fool of me. If you love me, then walk away. Doesn't make much sense. Well, I was like, God, this is fucking cool. Like, yeah. And they were fucking playing punk shit. And
Jason Atkins.
Jason was still in the band. Brian Vatz.
Brian
was on bass. And Kale on drums. And I was like, fuck, man. And then about 2 weeks later, I like maybe talked to the guys, the Spitshine, like at a party that night or something. Maybe I saw them at another party a couple days later. But 2 weeks later, Jason Atkins called the Beartooth and asked for me. I remember I was bussing on the grill side. And they're like, Chris, you got a phone call? And oh, what? That's weird. Nobody calls me at work. Who the fuck am I? He's like, hey, man, it's Jason Atkins from Spitshine. Would Double Fines like to play a show with us this weekend? And then, I mean...
Did he sound that polite?
Probably. And then, we hooked up and played our first show together. And then it was, if we weren't, pretty much, I think for like 2 years, it was every Friday Double Fines, every Saturday Spitshine. Like, that's what it was. It was like Friday Beatos, Saturday Beatos. And we were all there both nights. You know what I mean? The Spitshine was there Friday when we played. Sometimes they'd get up and play too, even though they weren't on the bill. Same thing with Friday.
Right.
And then Eddie, my drummer from Double Fines, he was playing in a band with Chad Renovan. You know Chad?
I don't think I do.
Guitar player guy. He's got Wattage Studios is his studio. Shout out to Chad. He was in a band with Chad, and he was playing back and forth. And over the course of a couple months, Eddie, something happened in his head, and he started to become sort of schizophrenic and paranoid and really depressed and awkward. He thought that people were following him and stuff like that, and he ended up killing himself. He ended up jumping off the Snow Goose back in the day at a gig with the other band, and he was supposed to play with us later that night or something. And he ended up killing himself.
That's the first time I ever talked to you. I don't know if you remember that. Probably not.
When he killed himself.
You were drinking. And,
yeah, probably.
The first time, I wanted to get to that eventually, but now that you bring it up, the first time I ever talked to you, because I've seen you play, and again, I used to talk shit, and then I was like, man, this band is actually kind of cool. And it was the same thing with Spitshine.
I love, just not to cut you off for a second, but I love when you were like, I was watching you guys. I was like, this is so silly, and you have a big crowd. And I'm like, I don't get it. I love that.
Dude, it was exactly like that. I was like, I don't get it.
I love that.
I was like, I don't. But I was so unexperienced. It wasn't until like years later that I was like, well, yeah, these guys sound good. They're tight. Because Murder's Justice was never tight. We were good, and we were heavy, but we were never tight, and But anyways, I don't.
Yeah. So first time.
The first time I ever talked to you, so I knew of your band, and I probably say what's up a couple times and this and that. And I'm pretty sure you have talked to me, given props for Murder's Justice or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sean did as well. And I remember that we just finished a set in Beatles, and then we walked in the kitchen. And back when you get to walk in the kitchen, you were kind of like VIP.
Totally.
You were like one of the homies.
Totally.
And then I remember, I walked in there, and that moment kind of brings me back to what just happened to our friend Bobby.
Sure.
Because I remember just seeing you. I walked in. Here's the fucking kitchen table, with their fucking they do the pizza and whatever, and you were in the other side of the table, and you were just taking a shot of Jack and Debbie. And Davey was right next to you, and you guys were crying. And then Al was like, hey man, I don't think it's a good time. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, what happened? And then he told me that your drummer just had kill himself. And then I was like, okay man, fucking, yeah, we'll leave, because I was there with Brian. And then you were like, no man, come have a shot. And dude, I want you to know that the first time I ever smoked weed in my life, and you know that I don't smoke weed.
I know.
You know that about me.
I know.
You know that I don't do. I don't
I've
do
smoked
anything.
weed with you 2 times, because I know the other time, and I do not remember that. Obviously,
Right.
I sort of, but you know me well too. That's kind of my demeanor. Mm-hmm. If you came in and you were like, "Oh, it's not good," but I'd be like, "No, come over here, take a shot with us."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So, that's so funny.
But so I just wanted to know that my very first time that I ever smoked weed, it was in honor of your drummer, and but anyways, I walked in. You said, "Come have a shot." So Brian and I came in. We have a shot, and I remember the only thing I said was "I'm sorry for your loss." And then we heard that he had jumped off the Snow Goose balcony, and then that was it. Brian and I just went to his shed. That's funny. Brian used to sleep in a shed. He wasn't homeless. His parents had a house, but he slept in the shed. But he was actually kind of cool, man. I mean, he was only 16, 17, and I was 19, and
it's like having your own place.
Yeah, it was cool. So we fucking didn't feel like sticking around for the rest of the show, and we just fucking went to we still had like half a bottle of Smirnoff because that was our thing again, like drinking vodka and whatever. And I remember that we got to the shed and we were like so bummed out because I had just like gained respect for you guys and like I loved the music, and I was like, you know, these guys are actually cool, this and that. And then you like were kind enough to like have a shot with me because I was nobody to you, I was nobody to the scene, I was nobody in the time, you know.
Well, you know, all you guys down there, I want to say that even when I didn't like Josh, I remember Josh from Betos. Like I remember a lot of you guys from Josh. I remember a lot of you guys from there, and that was my community. Like even though I didn't know all those people,
right.
You know what I mean? I was always like,
isn't it awesome how like
I was like, where's that person?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that person
eventually
in a while.
became friends. Like, cause exactly like I kind of knew. I mean, I didn't know Sean. I didn't know ALJ, but like you guys were always so cool and supportive for like our music, and then when you guys were supported, like we were supported, like we will come out to the shows and just like that, and then eventually with the parties and everything, that's how we started becoming a little closer. But I remember that we get to this shed and we finished a fucking bottle of fucking Smirnoff, and then Brian, you know, pulls out his fucking pipe, and he was like, dude, here goes to Eddie Fines, man. And then I was like, let me hit that shit, man. And I remember that in my head, I've seen Brian do this so many times, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do it like every time I see him do it, like a fucking vacuum. So he gives me that, and in my head, I'm just gonna recreate what I've seen him do like 100 fucking times since I know Brian.
Big ass hit.
At that time, I've known him for only a year, but like this kid was anyway. So I just do the same fucking thing, man. I just go like. Holy shit, man! Did I have the spins that fucking night? I remember that later
Brian and Eddie.
Later that night, we had like these two girls come over, and they came to hang out with us, and we were like still drinking, and I just made a fool of myself because I went outside to take a piss, but I had this spin so bad, and I just like passed out, threw up all over myself, and then these two girls just came out of the shed, and I'm just like half dead with puke all over me, and like yeah. Anyways, I ended up not hooking up with her, but yeah. Anyways, man, but yeah, man, I remember that's the first time I ever talked to you, and ever since, you know, I would just, you know, every time I see you, like I talk to you just little bits, just here and there. I know that you and I became friends, like better friends, like way later after the Beatles days.
Yeah, we didn't super hang out, but we were playing next to each other a lot. Murder's Justice and Spitshine.
Well, because you guys, because you joined Spitshine.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, so that's pretty much. So after Eddie passed away, Sean was living in like Portland or Seattle for like he moved down there for like a year.
He did?
Yeah, and because Brian and Jason had no, that's not right. That was a little bit later. Okay, so Sean came back when he heard that Eddie died. And Sean and I had gotten into a big fight before, which is the reason he moved away, like, for a year.
What you guys fight about?
Oh, Sean thought that I was, I gotta call him and tell him that I'm telling this story, but Sean thought that I was hitting my girlfriend at the time up at a party, and I wasn't. And she was in the bathroom with another dude, so I kicked the door in to the bathroom, you know, kind of made a scene. I didn't fuck up the dude or anything either, but I had my hands on the wall, you know,
right.
And she was here, and I was like, what the fuck? And he came up and tried to tag me at the house party, you know, like whoosh, but he was kind of drunk, and I was like so we walked home. I remember he was on the roof yelling at me. And then we were home for like an hour, and then there was a knock on my door, and I opened the door, and he fucking came in and jacked me. Fucking whooped my ass.
Sean did?
Yeah.
Huh.
And,
were you there at the time that we fought outside the fucking carousel?
Probably.
Not that long ago, actually. Probably. It was like fucking 5 years ago. And then I think we got into a fight with Mikey. I think this was when Mikey was still the bass player in Decepticide, and I think we got into it with him and Brian, and then Sean was like outside. He was like, I don't know if he was serious, but he was like,
we're very eager.
What's up, man?
We're very eager to fight.
And we were like, dude, whoever throws the first punch, there's no turning back.
Back in the day, we'd fight a lot. We'd fight each other a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And we'd fight people a lot. That was our favorite, was to go fight people together. Dudes, let's go fucking fight some people. We'd see another group of like 4 dudes. You know, I mean, fucking young and stupid, man. We were 22, you know. Well, I guess Sean was like 35 at the time, but no, you know.
I think he was like 48. He's been like 58 since like he was 19.
I went to Sean's 30th birthday 2 years in a row. I'll tell you that. Yeah, we'd fucking fight, and so he moved away. He got fucking like. I remember I was friends with this dude, Keith. Keith looked like an upside down triangle. Like, that's how fucking built he was. You know what I mean? Just fucking... And these giant Popeye arms.
Okay.
And,
nothing more biceps.
And
no legs.
Yeah. And Keith fucking heard that Sean did that. And I think Keith went and, like, fucking... I don't think he beat up Sean, but I think he fucking... He was like, I'll fucking kill you. And Sean was like, oh, shit. Huh. Anyway, Sean moved away. When Eddie passed away, Sean had this is a story he told me. He had this broken stereo or something like that, and there was a CD in it forever, and fucking he had just heard that Eddie died, and he was like crying, smoking weed or something, and, you know, just hanging out, figuring it out, going through the motions, and the fucking radio that's been broken turned on, and this fucking I think it was No Cure for Pain by the band Morphine. Huh. You know, it's like, I don't know, yeah, the fucking song came on. And he was like, all right, I got to go back to Alaska and put boobs in Spitshine now. So he flew back up here, came and knocked on my door again, and didn't kick my ass this time. And we went to the Crossroads, because I lived right down the street from Crossroads, the bar. Uh-huh. And we drank a bunch of PBR, because we both drank beer back then, too. Fucking weird. But,
yeah, did you all, did everyone Spitshine made a pact of, like, never drink fucking beer? Because all you motherfuckers are nothing with but fucking whiskey. And it's like, okay, well, that's cool, but, like, I understand, like, Sean is like, well, I'm fucking allergic to shit. But it's like, all 4 of you, man, do this shit. Like, we don't do beer. It's like,
I don't know.
Do you guys, like, fucking agree to this shit? And we're like, okay, whoever drinks beer is bitch.
Well, again, I worked at Beartooth for a long time. Since I was like 17, I was working over there. And after I was 21, I was still working there. And, you know, they make their own beer and shit. And that was the whole thing about working at Beartooth. Like, everybody gets a shift beer and stuff.
Gonna show up that dude.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, let's get a fucking shift beer finally when I'm 21. And so I drank fucking IPAs and stouts. I really liked stouts and Guinness and stuff. I didn't really like light beers. But I don't remember when I stopped drinking beer and just went like full on whiskey. I don't remember. It was... I feel like I drank beer in Double Fines. I think it was probably Spitshine. But no, we didn't make a pact. It just, fuck it, that's what we did.
That's weird. Is Mikey's the same way? Actually,
Kale drinks beer. Kale drinks beer.
Okay, yeah, I know about Kale.
Yeah, Kale does drink beer.
You know, the first time I heard about Spitshine, I think it might have been 2005 or 4. Might have been 2004. I went to Sumi's to get a fucking new board.
And Kale's working there?
At the Fifth Avenue Mall, and Kale worked there. And he was like, yeah, man, I just moved here, and I got a band. Fucking, you guys should come check it out. This venue called Beatles. And, like, I'm like, cool. I wasn't into the music scene yet. I was just learning how to play guitar. And then, you know, obviously I saw Spitshine play. I was like, oh, that's the kid from fucking Sumi's. We were saying the kid now, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember in Beatles when the news came out that Jason was out of the band. Whatever reason, I don't know why he left or he wasn't. But I remember that. Well, there was 2 things I was frustrated with Spitshine. Besides that, I wanted to be in Spitshine, and I never made the cut. But hey, I got to play fucking with you guys. Like,
I didn't want to be in it like that. I didn't want to be in it like when I told you that I saw them at Cuddy Park, I just wanted to be like the 5th member. You know, I was like 3 guitars, like Bad Religion. Let's do this. You know,
fucking. I tried to get Mikey into Murder Justice because we were losing a bass player or whatever, I mean, that's the story of fucking this side. We have like 6 bass players or 7 in the past like fucking 13 years. But I remember that we wanted Mikey to be in Murder's Justice, and then he like just joined Spitshine, and we're like, you motherfucker! But
Fuck that dude.
I love Spitshine so much, and I was like, of course I can understand. I was like, fuck, I want to be in Spitshine. And then when Jason left, I was like, well, fuck. I want to be in Spitshine. I've been wanting to be in Spitshine for fucking like a year or so, and no, like, oh, I wish I was in a band. But when Jason left, I was like, dude, I want to. I think, dude, it might have been like a MySpace fucking like thing, like it was out there, like the news were out there.
Well, they both
was out.
They both quit,
and they were auditioning.
They quit pretty much at the same time. Brian and Jason, and also just a little, like, not a lot of people know this. But for the first month, well, maybe 3 weeks, I was doing bass. We were just doing a trio. They still had shows booked with Jason and Brian, so they would practice Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'd come over on Wednesdays, and I'd play bass. You know, Sean would fucking show me the songs and stuff. Right. And I don't remember why. I mean, I liked it, but I didn't become a good bass player until a couple years ago. Like maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I started like really ripping bass. You know?
How long did it take? Like 5 minutes?
Yeah. I found one in my basement. I was just like...
Imagine if you were black. It would take you 1 minute.
I was totally thinking of Token from South Park.
Token from South Park.
Yeah. I was totally thinking that.
There must be a bass player somewhere in your basement. Like,
God damn it.
How'd you know I had a bass guitar? Like, you're black, Token.
God damn it.
I don't know how to play this. Yes, you do.
When Cartman's racism is correct. It's just like, oh...
I just remember that the news were out there. Spitshine was looking for a guitar player. They were doing auditions, and I was like, "Well, I don't have to audition. I know I can play this shit." You know, I was still carrying that arrogance, like, oh, I mean, like, I got this shit. You know, little did I know, actually, to this fucking day, punk rock is like my kryptonite. I mean, even fucking on Saturday when we were fucking jamming, it's like, dude, for some fucking reason, I can't jam along like No Effects, or even like The Offspring sometimes, like old school The Offspring.
You
know
who else?
I have a hard time with that fucking tempo.
You and Michael Fox, as you guys are very tight on everything that you do. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, like you keep pressing. You want to get it tight. You want it to be machine.
Dude, I can.
You guys both.
I can do all timing all you want. I can do, but dude, if you give me a simple punk rock fucking beat, I am drowning, dude. I am dying out there. I'm trying to find the fucking like. Am I following the kick or the snare? I don't fucking know. And with punk rock, you're following the feel of this. Like when we play with the Eternal side, I follow Josh. I'm like, okay, dude, like forget about the drums, just follow the fucking bass. Yeah. And I'm good, man. But like when you were showing me Spitshine the other day, like I knew I was off. I was like, dude, this is like my kryptonite. I can't do this fucking like. It's so simple, and I can't do it. I have a mental block about it. It's weird, man. But I remember that I wanted to be in a fucking band. I was talking to Sean about it, and I was like. And he was giving me the runaround, and then the news came out that you were fucking the guitar player, and I fucking hated you. I hated you so much for
a lot of people did.
But dude,
a lot of people still do too, by the way. But a lot of people did at that time for sure because of that.
But legit, I hated you.
I know.
Like, it wasn't like, during it, I'm like, fuck this guy.
You're like, the guy from the joke band?
The guy from the fucking silly band? That's the guy?
Oh, does he even play an instrument?
That's the guy that you went with? The guy from the joke band? Oh, Jesus, the silly band. You went with the silly guy. All right, fine, have the silly guy.
And then years later, you were like, "Oh, actually, that's pretty good. I get
it." Years, you know, not even like years later, like a year later, you know, and Murder Justice ends, and then I started the Septicide, and then like that's when I think when the Septicide started is when we really fucking started playing shows together, man.
Yeah.
Beatles was gone.
Yeah, we were
like ditching like Anchorage. We were like, fucking, let's go play the Master Resort, dude. Those were the fucking shows. That's when we became really fucking good friends and like good like. Band friends, you know.
Yeah. Band brothers.
We were still like we weren't still like close, like you and I like weren't fucking like friends, but we were still like it was like the beginning of like our like bromance with Spitshine and Decepticide. Like, we had to play shows together, dude. Like we had to fucking do this thing together. We played the Carousel. We played the Matsu. I think the Matsu Resort was probably one of my favorite fucking shows.
Those were always so fun. Did you ever go downstairs with us after we would play to the hip hop club and we would fucking go shake our booties so fucking hard?
We will close the show around 3 a.m. and then they will kick us all out downstairs for nothing but fucking
the club
rap
downstairs was open till 5
R&B, dude.
5 a.m.
And we were all in the dance floor. Fucking
all these metal dudes and punk dudes, and we're all dancing together too, like fucking.
And then you remember close. Clay, our bass player at the time?
Yeah.
He was the brewmaster of the Sleeping Lady, which now is now 49th State. We would always bring a fucking keg of beer to a fucking hotel room because that was the beauty of the fucking match.
They gave us hotel rooms.
They gave us hotel rooms.
So fucking cool.
Oh, what a mistake! But it's like 5 a.m. It closes. Dude, let's go to our hotel rooms, dude. We got a keg of fucking beer. Ready to fucking go.
I remember partying and doing so much fucked up shit out of that place. But more hilarity is I remember getting blamed for a lot of stuff that I didn't do and not getting caught for a lot of shit that I did do. One time, fucking someone came banging on my fucking bedroom door at the hotel. And I opened it up and they're like, "You fucking threw everything from the room next door into the lake last night." And I was like, "No, I didn't," because I think I had a girl with me or something. And I know that I didn't party hard that night. And I go open up the back. All the rooms were identical. It was like 6. There's 12 rooms, 6 and 6. And they're all identical. And they all had, front door and then in the back, the balcony. And it looked out at the lake there. And there were boats and shit at times. And I open it up and go out and have a cigarette. And fucking everything from the room that was next to me, the bed, the fucking table,
oh my god,
shit
dude.
off the walls.
I fucking remember.
Do you remember that?
Just now.
I don't know who did it. Do you know?
I think it was you guys. I think it might have been Sean, dude, because they came knocking on our fucking room, and we fucking opened the door like, "Look, we still have everything here. We have everything here." And I fucking think it was fucking Spitshine, dude. And you guys were missing like half of your shit in one of you guys' room. Because I think you guys got 2 rooms and we got 2 rooms.
It was probably us, but I don't think that it was me that night. It might have been Sean, but dude, we would
Sean.
fuck shit up at places. Like,
you know how Sean starts fucking silly fights during a fucking party, and no fights, like real fights. I mean like this party just went from like we're having a good time to like we're gonna fuck up this room.
Yeah.
He'll start throwing shit at you.
Yeah.
Rice.
Yeah.
Cereal.
That was our thing. Like we'd be like,
he'll start flicking shit at you.
I think we used to say
it starts like that.
I think we used to say we'd be like, "You want to go to the kitchen?" Or we had like a term, and we'd go to the kitchen, and that's usually where we'd start, in the kitchen, because there's food, there's condiments. So we'd go to the kitchen, we'd just start fucking shit up. We were assholes.
Yeah, dude. Sean got me to destroy my last place that I lived here before I left Alaska in 2009.
When you went to Philly?
He fucking started flicking rice at me. And then it went from there, dude. Then we were playing fucking like football in the fucking living room, and we were smashing the fucking like the dining table. Dude, the next fucking morning, remember that me and Ashley woke up and we're like, dude, there was like syrup in the fucking kitchen floor with fucking glass stuck to it.
Was that Spurgeon's place?
No, the snake face. Oh, dude, fuck no. I would never do it to fucking Jamie, dude.
No. Where was it? Where were you living then?
Back in Carter, Lake Cody's on the 80.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that fucking. We had Clay's going away party, and then we had Mike going away party. But on Clay's going away party was when I went crazy, and I destroyed the place with Sean and fucking like, I think it was. Dude, there was a few people there that were fucking helping me destroy the fucking place.
Yeah, our friends at one point.
Corey used to live with me, and Corey and Barry from Cave versus Table. And anyways, but remember that we destroyed the fucking place. There was almost no furniture left, and then I had to go to work the next fucking day. So I left. But, Corey was never home, Alina and Barry were never home, and fucking, like, nobody was ever home. And I was like, okay, fucking, well, they're never home, so I'm going to go to work. When I come back, I'm going to clean this place. And, dude, when I'm at work, my phone started blowing up. And Corey's like, what the fuck happened here, dude? Like, half of our furniture is gone. I'm like, dude, I'm so fucking sorry. but Sean was over last night, and yeah. But dude, that's how you guys would start shit.
Yeah,
you start
They
flicking
wouldn't
shit.
let us. There was a point where like we'd be like, "Oh, let's go over to so and so's house. They're having a party," and I'd call, and they'd be like, "You can't come over because Sean's already here. Like, we're only having one of you over here tonight." It was like that for a while. Yeah, and then we just weren't allowed to go party at certain people's houses after a while.
All right, dude. Well, we're coming up in a fucking 60 minutes. I wanted to do. Well, we can do a 2-part.
I'm down for that. Do you want to? Yeah. How do we do that?
Well, I got my notes here because
saga.
I'm not. So all right. So we're gonna close this on this. It's gonna be part 1 of.
Dude, thanks for having me, and that was super fun to, I mean, a lot of times when we are just bullshitting, we're like, you remember this, you remember that,
right.
stuff, but that was fun to actually, like, kind of break shit down a little bit, and that's super cool. Not to be a dick, but I didn't remember that was one of the first times that we.
Oh no, man! I mean,
like that's
to go back to that moment. It's like stuck in my head that's the first time I ever like talked to you.
That's
like,
really cool
face
to me.
To face.
It's really cool to me.
And like basically my first words ever to you was like, "I'm sorry for your loss," and that's one thing I want to talk to you. I know that you're someone who's gone through. Man, I mean, if there's someone that I know that has gone through a lot of loss. Is you, and like I kind of wanted to talk about that, but we're kind of we're running out of time.
Let's get into it next time,
and we'll talk about a lot more stuff. But man, thanks for coming, man.
Dude, thanks for having me, bro.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking awesome, huh?
Eternal Side.
The better part of Eternal Side.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, my friend.
All of you guys watching, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, share. Bye, everyone.
Check me out on yelp.com.
You want to plug in something?
No.
Yelp.
AOL.com. Yelp me. Follow me on Twitter. Follow Josh on Instagram. I don't have that shit. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
This is my first tour now. When I go to sleep with your mom. She goes, oh, 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 feels good.